Hello, and welcome to the Urban Classroom. Hi, I'm Mrs. Brooks, and thank you for joining me today in the Urban Classroom. If you do not have something to write with, I would really encourage you to go ahead and get your notebook so that you can keep yourself organized as you learn about U.S. history. Today, we're going to be talking about Introduction to Exploration. That is the name of this lesson, Introduction to Exploration. So you can see the outline on the left-hand side. We're going to talk about push factors. We're going to talk about pull factors and the 3Gs. Maybe you already know what the 3Gs are. If not, you'll be able to learn that today. Now, this is your job. Every lesson starts off with the objective. Scholars will be able to explain the challenges and achievements of European exploration and colonization. And the way we're going to do this is by summarizing information and by making connections. Now, you might say, why, Ms. Brooks? Why are we learning about this? Well, there's a reason why we're learning about this. Well, sometimes you have to complete tasks that may seem very difficult. And you're going to experience some challenges, and you're going to have to be able to overcome those challenges. You have to put your mind into a place where you say, yeah, this stuff may be hard. Yeah, it may be challenging, but I have to do it anyway. Because the reality is nobody in the world is just going to give you power. These aren't just going to be perfect all the time. But if you do not give up, if you put your mind and set your mind to something, then you can achieve anything. It's possible. So we want to make sure that we are practicing on accepting challenges and looking at the past and looking at how people struggled and how they had challenges, but they overcame those challenges. So that's what we're focusing on today as we learn about exploration. For every lesson, I always ask, what do you see? What do you think? And what do you wonder? If you look at this collage of pictures, take a moment to just analyze it. What do you see? What do you think? And what do you wonder? Well, this is what you'll be learning today, and you will be able to explain this collage by the end of the lesson. Let's get started. All right. There's a question that I want to ask you. I want to know, why do some people leave their own country and come to the United States? Now, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a T-chart. There's positive reasons why people leave, and there's also negative reasons why people leave. So I always like to ask my scholars when I present a question to think, then talk. Think, then talk. So if we're asking ourselves, why do some people leave their own country and they come to the United States? Some of the positive reasons why people come is because they want to have a better job, or maybe they want to have more rights than they had in their own country. There's also some bad things that happen that make people leave their country as well. For example, a lot of violence or gangs in the area, and also schools that are not very good schools. These are reasons why a family would move from one location to another location. Those bad things that make people leave, those are called push factors. Now think of someone like pushing you in your back. You're not going to like the way that feels. That is something difficult, something challenging, something you don't like. Well, think of push factors in the same way. Push factors are difficult problems and challenges. They could be economic, social, political, or even environmental. And they are issues that force people to leave their own country and relocate to somewhere new. It could be not having a job, not having a lot of opportunities. It could be poverty, just being poor. Maybe there's starvation in the area, or natural disasters, even war. These are bad things that happen in a person's area that make them want to leave. It could be strict cultural rules. It could be gangs or oppression, persecution, and maybe religious intolerance. So anything that makes you unhappy and you don't want to be in a location anymore, it's forcing you to leave, we call those push factors. Well, on the other side of the story, there are some things that are called pull factors. Now, pull factors are good things, positive ESPN factors. When I say ESPN, again, I'm talking about economic, social, political, environmental factors that will make a person leave one area and look forward to going into another area. We're talking about civil liberties and rights that people can enjoy when they move from one location and go to another location. An example of a pull factor could be better schools. It could be better jobs. It could be religious and political tolerance where people can practice free and fair election participation. It could be more desirable weather, like warm weather or living near the beach or coastal area. It could also be diversity, just being around people that don't look like you. So people decide for a lot of reasons why they move from one place to another. And if those things are positive, if there's something to look forward to, then we call those things pull factors. Now, I want to ask you about the 3Gs. Maybe when you're in 7th grade, you learned about the 3Gs because they were reasons why European kings encouraged exploration and colonization. So take a look at the pictures and we'll go over the 3Gs. Well, the first G is for gold. A lot of kings, they wanted to send explorers out to look for gold. Number 2, the next G is God. Many of the European kings, they wanted to spread their religion about God. And the third G is for glory. Now think of glory as having fame, for discovering new areas, claiming new areas, land, territory. Those are the ideas that are involved with glory. So you have gold, God, and glory. These are your 3Gs. But that's from 7th grade. And now we're in 8th grade, so we have to change our vocabulary a little bit. Gold is to gain wealth. Yes, God is about spreading religion, and then the glory was about gaining more land. But now we're going to turn these into the ESPN. So think of the economic, whenever you're talking about anything relating to money, social, anything relating to people, political, it's in reference to the government, and then environmental, we're talking about the land and the resources in the land. So you will not hear me talk too much about the 3Gs anymore, because again, that's 7th grade and you're now in 8th grade, so you'll be using ESPN. Now, as I go through my lesson, I always include the outline, and you can tell when I'm almost finished with the lesson because the last topic will be in red. So I'm going to talk about 3 powerful countries. I want to talk about the New World, the technology that is helping explorers travel further distance. And we're going to talk about Marco Polo and then merchants and rulers. That's where we'll wrap it up. All right, so there are basically 3 very powerful countries who are allowing people to enter into what is called the New World. Those 3 countries are Spain, France, and England. And so I do have a lesson about Spain all by itself. That's tomorrow's lesson. Make sure you stop by to learn about Spain. And then France and England, we'll talk about those together, and our focus mostly for 8th grade will be on England. Nevertheless, you have people who are leaving Europe. Europe is a continent, and they're moving over to the New World, and the New World is in North America. That's the other continent. The New World is in North America. So you will have people coming over here for different reasons: push factors, pull factors, economic reasons, social reasons, political reasons, environmental reasons. Now, in the New World, powerful kings will allow Europeans to explore this area and to claim some of the land for the rulers. Now, when the explorers go into the new world. They're just kind of like looking around, seeing what is here. What could we claim for our king or the queen from the country we belong to? Eventually, there are some people who are going to stay in the area. Those people are the colonists. They are still citizens from maybe Spain, still citizens from France, still citizens from England, but they have decided to live and work in the new world. They will colonize. Now, the powerful kings, they will let you go over to the new world if you're a colonist, but the king is expecting something in return, mostly looking for a raw material. Raw materials are things that grow naturally in the environment or things you can plant that will grow in the environment, such as tobacco, cotton, rice, indigo. These are different raw materials that can be used for cash, also known as cash crops. The king wants to expand this empire. It's going to get very competitive because you have countries sending people over to the New World and trying to claim the land. Also during this time, the religion will be spread to the people who already exist in the New World. So it's kind of hard to say the New World was discovered when there's people already living there. And those people are indigenous people, Native Americans. All right, let's talk about navigation. Navigation and technology. First, we have to understand what technology is. When I say technology, I'm not talking about like wires coming out of a computer or electronic devices. No, technology means anything that help you do your job better. For example, if I'm writing and I'm taking notes because I'm watching this video lesson and I am using a pen, well, guess what the pen is? The pen is technology because it's going to help me do my job better. So we have people who are interested in traveling across the ocean, and it's going to become a lot easier because of technology. For example, the compass. Inventors from China will come up with this magnetic compass, because before the compass, you got to know about the stars, and you have to know about astronomy so that you can navigate through uncharted territory. So the compass is going to be great for showing people who are on those boats, on those large ships, which direction is north, south, east, and west, so that you can go further and further across the Atlantic Ocean. People in Arabia, they're going to invent better sails, and the sails help the ships run by wind power. So if you put that sail up, it will help you guide through the waters and guide through the ocean. Also, the rudder is going to be invented, and the rudder is I guess you can say it's a tool, but it's in the back of the ship, and where it helps guide or navigate the ship as it travels. So thanks to this modern technology at this time, people are going to be able to go further and further out into the ocean. Now, here's a question that I have for you. Take a look at these pictures, and where do you think Mr. Brooks and I traveled to in these pictures? Take a look. Well, maybe the gondola gave it away. If you guessed Italy, then you are right. And we're about to talk about a person named Marco Polo. Marco Polo was born in Italy, and he will become a famous explorer. Now, I have one more picture to show you to see if you can tell where Mr. Brooks and I are traveling to. Where do you think we're at in this picture? Take a look. Take a look. Well, in these pictures, we are in Beijing, China. Beijing, China. And the connection that I like for you to make is that Marco Polo, he lived here for 24 years. So the place that you're looking at now is the place that we're getting ready to talk about because Marco Polo went here. But Mr. Brooks and I, we went here in 2019, and it's a beautiful country, and we really enjoyed ourselves in China. So let's talk about Marco Polo. Marco Polo was a very successful merchant. A merchant is like a businessman, and he was from Venice, Italy. He's going to travel to China with his father and his uncle, and it took them 3 years to get there. That's a long time. There were no airplanes during that time. Can't get there by a jet. So it was a long journey to get to China. Now, when Marco Polo lived in China, he was so impressed by the wide roads that China had, how clean China was. There was wealth and luxury. People had money. So he was so fascinated by China that he even wrote a book about his adventures there, about his travel there. It's called A Marco Polo Travel. Now, his book is going to inspire other people to want to travel and trade because the Europeans were very interested in some of the products that China had, like spices, like tea, porcelain, and cotton and silk. Spices were very important during this time because there were no refrigeration. I mean, if you had a meat, you hunted an animal and you had cut the parts and you wanted to preserve your meat, you couldn't just put it in a refrigerator because there's no refrigerator. It doesn't exist. But by having those spices, you could rub the spices onto the meat and it would preserve your food. So think of it like making beef jerky. You know, you just have slices of your meat and it has your spices on it and it can last for a long period of time. Now, silk, oh my goodness, you could not even tell any person who wasn't Chinese about silk. That was forbidden by the emperor. Absolutely not. Can't share the secret on how silk is made. Well, the penalty for telling how silk was made would be death. So it was a secret because China had a monopoly on silk making. In actuality, silk came from a little worm. Just a little worm was making the silk that could be woven together to make beautiful fabric and scarves and dresses. Any type of clothing could be made out of silk. So European people were very interested in doing business with China and learning more about their culture and being able to trade and travel to China. Now, merchants and rulers from Europe, they want to be very successful, just like Marco Polo was. They also wanted to find a direct water route that goes straight to China. But unfortunately, that route does not exist. So they're never able to find that direct water route. But being able to travel to China would allow merchants to trade and bring back products that can be sold in those European countries. So this little, the map that you're seeing, it shows the Silk Road and also Marco Polo route. And you'll notice he stays very close to the coast because during this time, the technology was being developed and you couldn't stray too far out into the ocean. They didn't know what could happen to you. You could fall off the edge of the earth. I don't know. You had to just stay close to the coast so that you can get to your destination safely because it was very dangerous to be traveling out in the ocean. So this brings us to Marco Polo's travel. As you see on the map, he is traveling to Asia. He is traveling, he is trading, and he's going to be there for about 24 years. And he becomes very successful, and other people would like to emulate him and be just like him because he was able to gain fortune and fame. So in this lesson today, we learned about Marco Polo and his travel to China. We talked about how people leave their country for push factors and pull factors, the good things and the bad things that make people want to leave an area. Because of better technology, people are able to go further and further into unknown territories. And we know that kings and queens encourage exploration and colonization to build their wealth, spread their religion, and also to get raw materials. Now, I just want to check on your learning with 8 simple questions. Okay, when you see a question that looks like this, these are considered clues and you're providing the answer. Think of the clues as chapters to a book and you're telling me the title of the book. So if I give you the clues, no jobs, lack of food, famine, pollution, drought, natural disasters, war, strict cultural rules, and gang violence, these would be considered, you guessed it, push factors, the bad things that make people want to leave. Now, this word provision, it means something. This word provision, because some people will suffer without provision and some people have a lot of provisions. Provision just means supplies and resources. Okay, here are your clues. Better jobs, good schools, no violence, no war, warm cultural diversity. These are good things that make people leave one area and they're excited about coming to a new area. These are called pull factors, pull factors. Number 4, why did European rulers and merchants encourage explorers to find a direct water route to China? What is the reason for sending explorers to China? Well, the reason is to gain wealth from trade. They're going to China for trade. Number 5, what are the name of the 3 most powerful countries who sent explorers to the New World? Those 3 powerful countries are Spain, England, and France. Those are the 3 that we focus on, Spain, England, and France. Number 6, take a look at these things. What would they be considered? A compass, a boat rudder, a sail. These are considered to be technology, specifically navigation technology. Number 7, he was a very successful merchant. A merchant is a businessman, and he's from Italy. He went to China to trade, and he wrote about the marvelous things that he saw in China and how he was impressed with what he saw there. He also brought back spices and tea and silk and porcelain to Europe. Who is this person? Well, this person is Marco Polo. Marco Polo. And our last question, what were the 3 main motives? Motives is a college word. It means reasons to explain why kings from France, England, and Spain encouraged European exploration of the New World. Why are they coming to the New World? The reason for exploration? Because kings wanted raw materials, they wanted wealth, they wanted to expand their empire by gaining more land, and they wanted to spread their religion as part of their culture. So if you were able to get at least 6 out of 8 right, that is amazing because you are a highly educated scholar. So thank you for coming by today and learning about U.S. history. I want to encourage you to continue to watch the video lessons because we're learning about how America became America from the 13 English colonies to settling the Western frontier after the Civil War and Reconstruction. So again, have a great day and make it a great day. Bye, guys.